Okay, let's get started for tonight. So this will be very similar to last night. Hang on a sec. My slideshow is showing on the wrong monitor. Let's try this one, see if that fixes it. No, wrong monitor. Try it again. There we are, finally. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so thank you for coming. If you're going to do the test tonight, you want 4012 pulled up. You're going to want to have the TaxSlayer practice lab pulled up. You're going to want to go grab, get into Lincoln Learn and go to the advanced test. So tonight's really about the resident test. So I am going to do just a really quick, like two or three slide overview of business income. If anybody has any topics that they would like me to talk about, we can go back through those or talk about them in more detail. Otherwise, I'll just give a couple things on Moodle, and then same sort of test plan for tonight, best practices, and paperwork and sign up. So it'll be a very quick presentation. But I wanted to talk about info for businesses because I did kind of skip over this a little bit in our training. But basically, if you do work on your own, right? If you have your own business, if you are self-employed, if you have a gig, right? The IRS considers that you have your own business. And so that is going to be reported on a Schedule C is the name of the form that it gets reported on. And you're going to basically combine your income and your expenses for the entire business on that one form. So it's not like you're going to separate out one form for this customer, one form for that customer. If it's all the same business, then you're going to have that all together. You can have multiple businesses on a tax return, but they would need to be separate businesses. So I have one business that is me making these fabulous things that I sell on Etsy. On this other business where I drive a car for Uber and I, spend all my time doing that during the day. So those would be two separate businesses, two separate forms. On those forms, the top section is general business information, like the name and tax ID number, if those are separate. There's a business code, which basically tells the IRS some information about what type of business it is. There's an accounting method, which is either cash or accrual basis. So basically, when do you recognize that you receive the money and pay the expenses on your financial statements for your business? Is it like when the actual cash happens, or is it when essentially you have a promise for that? So you had a rental property and you were renting an apartment to somebody, right? Do you say, okay, I got $1,000 of rent like on the first of the month because that's when it's due? Or do you say, I got my $1,000 of rent on the 10th because that's when they actually paid me? There are some check boxes, yes, no, for whether you participated in the current year, whether you started the business in the current year, and did you make payments that require a 1099? And if you did you file that? Generally, a 1099 is for payments of more than $600 to individuals. So somebody that you hired to build a website or do something else for you, if you pay them over $600, you have to file that form, and then they use that on their Schedule C to report their income. All right, when you report the income and expenses, right? All income, we don't want to be Joe. We want to make sure we report it no matter whether it's a cash payment, whether it's a credit card or debit card or some other third-party network. If it is, that would probably get sent to us on a 1099-K if there was enough of it. The IRS is starting to change the standards about who has to get one of those forms. They keep delaying it. So this year it's still $5,000 that you have to have in income from that to get a 1099-K form, but that is supposed to be going down. Payments from other businesses like the 1099 NEC or 1099 miscellaneous. It can also be goods or services received. So if you receive crypto for your business, that would be considered a good, so to speak, that you receive for your services, or it can be barter. I will do your taxes for you if you will come fix my plumbing issue, kind of a thing. So in TaxSlayer, you can link income documents with a Schedule C business. However, there's one little quick trick I wanted everybody to be aware of. So when you are entering, or if you are ever entering a 1099-K form, it can only create a Schedule C when you enter the income document. So if you have one of those other types of documents, you can enter the income document and then select either an existing or new Schedule C. But for the 1099-K, it seems like it's only letting you put in a new Schedule C. So if you have to do that 1099-K first, and then add any other documents. That's probably a bug that they're going to fix, but just in case, it's not fixed yet, as far as I know. So something to check on. And then for the expenses, so the idea is you have this business, you're getting this money, but you have costs to get that income. And so to be deductible, to subtract those costs from your income, a business expense must be both ordinary and necessary. So it's something that would be common and accepted in your field of business, and something that is necessary in terms of being helpful and appropriate for your business. So it does not have to be like indispensable, like the business could not exist without it. But it would need to be something that is ordinary and necessary. So helpful and common. So if I had drove for Uber, then buying some sort of a vehicle would be an ordinary and necessary expense. Buying like a super fancy computer so that I could game while I'm waiting for people to join me, that would not necessarily be ordinary or necessary because it doesn't really help in your business and it's not really a common or accepted practice that you have to game while you're waiting for clients on your business. So if you have any questions about this, I know this is like a really, really high level overview, but the IRS does have a lot of really good information where they try to help you with that. So this Pub 33.4 is a good one. And then this Guide to Business Expenses is also another good place to go. So if you have any questions about those, you are welcome to go there, and that'll help you get some reference information about what's allowable and what's not, as well as how income is reported. So, all right, and with that, let's move on. All right, are there any topics that anybody would like me to review? Or would like me to review in kind of the general group here? Tiffany and Ryan, I know you guys just joined. I basically just had a quick review of business income, and I'm opening it up for any particular topic reviews that you would like. The slides are already posted in the Moodle course, so if you want to find them, it was just 2 slides that you missed, so it was not a lot. All right. Okay, then, test plan. All right, so feedback to you from the Moodle resident course. So I will say that generally, I mean, it's starting to have people get through it now, but generally a lot of the volunteers have not completed the materials yet. So it's my opinion that it would be a best practice to make sure you get through the Moodle course before you take the IRS test. You should feel comfortable working in TaxSlayer Practice Lab. You should feel comfortable researching a topic in your 4012 and then going to the IRS website, publications, forms, instructions if you need more information. We have covered lots of topics at a very high level. So, this is not an in-depth course like you would get if you were going to take a CPA exam, for example. We're kind of covering all of the high points, digging more deeply into the things that you're going to see more often, such as education credits and tuition and scholarships. But in some areas, you definitely need to be able to kind of be comfortable doing a little bit of that research work yourself. So with that being said, if you want to use this time to work on the Moodle course, either the non-resident or the resident, that is just fine. I will grade assignments as they come in between answering any questions that people might. Like once again, the test is open book and open note. As changed in blue, publication 4012 is going to be your friend, so make sure you have it open. I am a huge fan. I go back and forth from the table of contents to the section, whatever I need. It's kind of how I find things, but text searching is also very effective there. You also have the training presentations that you can use as references. There are also some very handy references that I put in the Moodle course as well in some of the different sections. So you can use those links there. Those are, confirmed to be good. They do refer to a few other VITA site resources that some other VITA programs have created, which are quite fantastic. And then the IRS website, of course. I will say that 2024 versions are generally not out there yet, but usually 2023 is like this, templates are the same. Sometimes the numbers will change a little bit, like the income numbers or the limits are going to be adjusted for inflation. If you have questions, you're welcome to send me an email or a message in Moodle, or you can send me a chat here in the Zoom. Again, I won't give you answers, but I will help you find them just like we would do in a real clinic. And then once you get through the test, make sure you say review to see what you got wrong, and then hit close. The advanced test, I believe, is 35 questions or 36 questions. So it is definitely shorter than the non-resident test. You do have to prepare, or you should prepare several scenarios in the test. So you will want to make sure that you have TaxSlayer up and working before you go in to do that. As a reminder, if you don't pass the first time, right, the test questions are going to be slightly modified. So be on the lookout for that. Go back through any incorrect question topics that you have and let me know. I can help provide some additional information for you. If you don't pass, you get 2 tries. So make sure you do your best to make sure you pass the 2 times. But if you don't, as long as you pass that non-resident test, you can still volunteer as a tax volunteer. So it's not the end of the world if you don't pass the advanced test. We still would be very happy to have you, and our clients will be very happy to have you help them with their foreign student returns. All right, again, best practices, right? If something seems like it might be right, ask yourself which one of them is the most right. Sometimes like a later question can give you an answer to an earlier question. So kind of be on the lookout for that sort of scenario. And the IRS, bless their hearts, sometimes they just don't say things very clearly. So if they say, can he file? And it's a true false question, just make that into, he can file. Is that true or false? I think that, yeah, they're not the greatest. And then finally, a word of warning. So the software is in the process of being updated for the tax year 2024. Not everything works correctly. This was the most recent known issues with Practice Lab. Theoretically, the 2441, which is the child independent care credit, that form has now been fixed. I have not verified it yet, but the feedback that I saw on one of the listservs says that it should be good. So as you're going through, if you have a question or if something doesn't seem right, that would definitely be something you could ask me about is, hey, is this a problem? Have you seen this issue in TaxSlayer before? Those issues generally will all get fixed kind of by early in the tax season, but now there can be quite a few of them. All right. The good news is there aren't any like really, really bad questions, but there are a few that are tricky. They even caught me on one of them. So make sure you read the questions carefully and double check, right? What are they asking? Don't just say, oh yeah, they want to know like how many people or whatever, but no, it maybe is not that question. So read the questions carefully. It'll be great. There was one form in the test when I downloaded it where there was missing information. So one of the scenarios, they had a number in box 3, but they were missing the number in box 5. You can see like where they obviously sort of like got rid of it and then didn't put the new one in. So just use that same number from box 3 into box 5, and that will be perfect. All right, once you pass the test, you're going to need to sign and send it to me. If you've already done the foreign student one, you're gonna have to regenerate it so it shows your new updated test results. I should already have your ID. If I don't, then you'll need to provide that to me, but we only need to do that once. We don't have to do it twice again. All kinds of options for how to show me your ID. We can do a breakout room here tonight. You can upload it to the Moodle course. You can send me an email. We can have a separate Zoom another time if you don't have it with you today, whatever you prefer, but we do have to get that step done. And then once you've done that, we'll invite you to the spring training sessions, kind of same format, both online and in person. You'll get access to the clinic signups if you haven't already got that. The clinics they don't have unlimited volunteers. So some of them have more than others, kind of depending on the format and location of them. So we do ask if you can to please sign up for 8 events, but it's under your control to pick which events you like based on when they are, what day, what week, what time, what format, whatever you like. And then a reminder that we do open up the spots for our clients based on your volunteering and your signing up. So please don't no-show or cancel at short notice, because that way we either have to turn away clients or people have to stay longer to help everybody else out. This is what the scheduling page looks like, sort of looks like. And basically pick the days, pick the times, there you go. And training will start up again in mid to late January. So, and the tax clinics will be on February 18th. And with that, that is really all that I have for planned presentation. Does anybody have any questions before we stop and turn you loose to work on the test? Right, well, then I'm going to stop this here.